From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning, and thanks for starting your day with us. Today is Sunday, November 2nd. I'm Kelsey Thorid. Here is a look at what we've got at the top of our rundown today. The government shutdown is entering its fifth week as food stamp programs run out of funds. We take a look at how local groups are working to provide assistance to families who need it the most. And the government shutdown also impacting a Bay Area tradition. The annual Golden Gate Half Marathon will look a little different this morning. We take a look at the changes you can expect. And bang, bang, Niner gang, the 49ers are back in action this morning, taking on the New York Giants. Let's go Niners. Okay, but first, let's bring in meteorologist Zoe Mitz to talk weather. Now, Zoe, I know that it was fall back?
Yes.
Overnight?
Did you feel extra rested early this morning?
I have to confess something. I should know this. I'm old enough to know fall back, spring forward. I was confused. I thought it was spring forward. So I woke up before because I thought that...
You thought you lost an hour of sleep?
And then it went back to 1 o'clock and then I went back to sleep. It was a whole... So I think I actually lost sleep. But
oh, no.
I'm happy for everyone else.
I'm so sorry. I was about to say, I woke up feeling refreshed this morning. And the sun is beginning to rise right now. I'm so sorry. Maybe
I love that.
You'll get a good nap in midweek when there's some rain on the way. Who doesn't love a good rainy day nap?
I'll take it.
I'll take it too, especially because our next atmospheric river is on the way, and let's enjoy a quiet start to the morning while we can. Early this morning, I want to show you all a beautiful time lapse. Look at the colors in the sky, a little bit of that fog bubbling up over the bay. And that fog is actually going to continue to get thicker and thicker, at least over the next, I would say, hour or so. But right now, most of that fog is situated along our coastal communities. We are looking at a bit of visibility concerns, especially for places like Half Moon Bay. We're looking at visibility down to less than a half a mile. The rest of the Bay Area, most of us are looking at relatively good visibility. There is a little bit of a pocket of lower visibility across our North Bay in places like Napa and Vallejo. So just something to keep your eyes on as you step out early this morning. Grab a jacket, maybe give yourself an extra minute or two on the road if you do encounter that thicker fog. Those temperatures right now in the mid to lower 50s to upper 40s, but again, dress in layers because by the afternoon hours, there's going to be plenty of sunshine. And what I want to make sure you're all aware of is some beach hazards. There is going to be a northwesterly swell bringing waves upwards of 15 to 20 feet, the potential for higher than normal rip currents and sneaker waves. All things to keep our eyes on this afternoon, and I'll break down the details on when that next big atmospheric river will arrive and what impacts it'll bring us coming up in my full forecast. Back to you, Kelsey.
Awesome. Thanks, Zoe. Well, as the government shutdown now enters its fifth week, funding for SNAP benefits has run out. But two federal judges ordered the Trump administration on Friday to tap into emergency funds. Now the president is asking the courts to clarify, quote, how to legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. One federal judge says full payments must be restored by Monday or partial payments on Wednesday. Caught in the middle of all of this legal battle are millions of Americans looking to put food on the table. 42 million people around the country rely on food stamps to make ends meet. Here in California, more than 5 million Californians use the federal SNAP program called CalFresh. Max Darrow shows us how local groups are helping fill the gaps.
When the clock struck midnight, November began, and with it, so did a period of uncertainty for millions of Americans who rely on food stamps. Because of the ongoing government shutdown, now the second longest in history, the money that funds the SNAP program, or CalFresh locally, was set to run out. At the final hour, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to tap into contingency funds to continue paying for food stamps, but it is unclear when that money will arrive. And in the here and now, people do not have their SNAP benefits. Food banks, the community safety net, have been preparing for this moment. Reggie Young is the executive director of the Alameda County Community Food Bank.
We're seeing a high number of folks calling in to see our services. We're seeing a high volume of folks who are actually visiting our website. So we're knowing that a lot of people within our community are needing resources, and we are going to be there for them.
And for many people, this will be their first time turning to food banks for help.
Our pantries themselves try to create a warm environment for people. They realize that people do not want to see them at a pantry, and so they try to create environments that are really centered around dignity.
Local businesses are stepping up to help the community too. Some restaurants are giving away food to people who lost their SNAP benefits.
We have to think of it as not a partisan thing. The children shouldn't have to suffer because of what's happening with the adults.
And in San Francisco, Mayor Daniel Lurie announced the city will replace any lost SNAP benefits this month with gift cards for the city's roughly 112,000 CalFresh recipients.
This public-private partnership will ensure that every San Franciscan getting SNAP benefits will have assistance to buy groceries for the entire month of November.
The city is putting forward $9 million from emergency reserves, and the foundation Crankstart is donating another $9 million.
When we talk about hunger and food insecurity, there's no face to hunger. Can you explain who are the people that are needing food assistance?
That's absolutely right. The way that we look at it is that food insecurity is an invisible issue. And in Alameda County, there are about 1 in 4 people that are struggling with food insecurity. And in fact, it's probably your neighbor. And so we see people who are working, we see children, we see seniors. There's really no face to hunger. In fact, it looks just like us.
Roughly 1 in 8 Americans rely on SNAP. More than half of the recipients are children and the elderly.
Millions in emergency aid could soon hit the hands of Contra Costa families. Supervisor John Joya says the county plans to give out grocery debit cards to all 107,000 CalFresh enrollees after the federal shutdown froze benefits. The board votes Tuesday to approve $21 million in emergency funds. Cards roll out at 4 EHSD offices, and starting tomorrow, food boxes will be available to anyone in need, no questions asked. Taking a live look at the Golden Gate Bridge this morning. Heads up for runners and early risers this morning. Today's Golden Gate Half Marathon starts in just a few minutes, but this year it comes with a twist thanks in part to the federal shutdown. Organizers had to change part of the 3.1-mile course that passes through federal land. John Ramos has more on the changes you can expect.
Each year, Sports Basement in the Presidio is a gathering place for the 7,500 runners on the day before the event, picking up their race bibs and browsing through this year's race merchandise. The Golden Gate Half Marathon is one of the most popular running events in California. And Gretchen Schoenstein, who hosts a weekly radio show called Finish Line Moments, says there's one reason that stands out above the rest.
I mean, come on. Is there a better way to display what this race is all about tomorrow?
There are plenty of iconic views along the race route, but Gretchen says it is the Golden Gate that attracts the huge crowd of runners.
To be able to say that you ran a bridge, right? There's not that many. I mean, if you take the whole world's population and you think about how many people go for a run, not that many people have the ability to say that they've run the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a bucket list for some people.
But part of the route runs along National Park property, and that's where things got a little tricky. There was no way to get the permit they needed to hold this year's race.
When we realized that the government shutdown was not going to be over, our race organizers worked with the City of San Francisco, Presidio Trust, and the Golden Gate Bridge District to adjust the course to still be able to present a phenomenal 13.1-mile half marathon for all these runners coming into San Francisco who want to run the bridge.
A few changes to the course had to be made, and since it was so last minute, the race will not be certified by U.S. Track and Field, which means it will be just for fun, which suits Paul Camara just fine. He became a runner because of this race.
First ever race. I went all out half marathon right off the bat.
Were you surprised that you could do it?
Surprised I can do it, then like I said, didn't know I can do it, then the energy of the crowd, the sights, seeing the bridge, like going up, then going across, back and forth. So and then I can't miss it. So every year I'll do it.
This is Brianna Thomas's first time running the bridge. She lives in Southern California, but came up because of her love for San Francisco and the free beer she scored at the pre-race party.
Like born in LA, but raised in the Bay, so that's what I say. And SF is just home. Like nowhere else I would love to run with great weather, great views, great people. And we're ending with a beer at the end. Like, come on, beer at the beginning, beer at the end. I'm here for it.
The race begins bright and early Sunday morning, and organizers say while there will be some changes in the normal route, they don't think anyone will get lost. Unless you're in the lead, all you have to do is follow the crowd to the finish line.
Moving around the Bay now for headlines in your community. Anger And heartbreak in San Francisco's Cow Hollow neighborhood after a deadly apartment fire on Filbert Street near Van Ness. Firefighters found a woman's body just outside her unit, the same apartment where the fire started. Crews say the home was packed with belongings, making it nearly impossible to get inside. Tenants say they'd begged for help for years, warning the woman's hoarding could turn dangerous, and say they reached out to the city multiple times, but nothing changed.
They said, you know, do you have a path to your fire exit? No. I go, well, don't you worry about your dog? No. How about yourself? No.
I just don't understand that. She needed help, and I've been waiting for this.
Displaced tenants hope to move back in before Thanksgiving. Crews are still investigating how the fire started and whether hoarding played a role. Well, a major shift in Gilroy starts tomorrow. 2 of the city's largest homeless encampments are shutting down, and dozens of unhoused residents have nowhere to go. Valley Water says safety issues, including weapons, threats, and staff confrontations, forced the closure of both encampments where more than 50 people have lived for years. But advocates warn this move will scatter people across the city without shelter. Some residents say the sites felt safe and stable despite recent tensions. Valley Water says it's working with the city and county to help, but no new housing sites will be ready in time. Okay, let's check out what's happening around the Bay today. We are taking a live look here at Chase Center, where Thrive City's Blankets and Blockbusters movie series wraps up tonight with a screening of the Minecraft movie. Expect themed photos, ops, trivia, and crafts for all ages. It's all happening at Thrive City in San Francisco. And Bay FC fans, here is your chance to catch the final game of the season. The club is hosting official viewing parties across the Bay Area for their final match. Viewing parties kick off this afternoon at 1:30 in Santa Clara at Taplands and Jack's, Ricky's Bar here in San Francisco, Hysteria Sports Bar in Oakland, and the 12th at Tam's Commons in San Rafael. Coming up, with days away from the special election that will determine whether California will redraw its congressional districts in favor of Democrats. We take a look at the last-minute efforts from Governor Newsom to get voters to the ballot box. And anxiety over President Trump's immigration crackdown casting a shadow on Dia de los Muertos festivities. How local communities are embracing the holiday despite the fears.
And let's take you outside right now. This is a gorgeous look from on top of Sutro Tower. You can see the top of Golden Gate Bridge is sticking out above the fog. We are expecting plenty of sunshine today, but don't get used to it. We're tracking our next atmospheric river that's going to bring widespread rain and winds. I'll break down the details on exactly what you can expect this upcoming week coming up in Metro Forecast.
This weekend, Latino communities across the world are celebrating Dia de los Muertos. In Mexico City, thousands of people wearing skull face paint and traditional clothing paraded in the streets. The 2-day holiday celebrates the return of the spirits of loved ones who have passed. Here in the Bay Area, several groups decided to cancel their Dia de los Muertos celebrations out of an abundance of caution, worried about ICE raids. But other groups tell our Amanda Harry it was important to hold the celebrations as a community.
Ofrendas filled with photos of past loved ones, marigold flowers, and authentic Mexican food could only offer a temporary escape from current realities.
It's really scary. Every day there's just like new information.
Jennifer Lomelli is Mexican American. She grew up in the Bay Area and for the most part felt safe here until recently.
The fear they have instilled within our communities right now with the threats of bringing ICE and National Guard and a plethora of other things, including cuts to a lot of like foundational services.
But it's not stopping her from embracing her culture and celebrating Dia de los Muertos at the Tenderloin Street Fair. It's a Mexican holiday to honor and remember loved ones who have passed away. It combines indigenous traditions with Catholic influences. It's a joyful celebration, but she was disappointed to see crowds a little more sparse than she expected.
I can definitely tell that a lot of community members are not feeling safe to go outside. They're not even trying to get groceries right now because of everything going on.
Rise canceled their celebration at Berkeley High School, saying in a statement that the decision was difficult but felt it was best. This decision comes after hearing from many community members who shared that they do not feel safe attending at this time. We want to honor those feelings and prioritize the well-being of our community above all else. But in Oakland, program director at Peralta Hacienda Historical Park, Deontay Noble, says they never considered canceling their event.
We're very resilient against what's going on. We're just still trying to keep, good faith, good hope, positivity, happiness, joy.
Noble reassured the community that organizers are in constant communication and they're keeping an eye out for anything that looks suspicious. Back in San Francisco, Mayor Daniel Lurie emphasized that people shouldn't be afraid.
Today is about celebration and honoring those that have come before us and honoring, our ancestors. And today in the Tenderloin, people are feeling safe. I'm heading out to the mission, and we're going to take care of our community.
Lomeli agrees that it's all about the community. She says ICE raids aren't just an immigrant concern, it's a human concern.
I think it's really important that we work in community amongst everyone. Different groups and ethnic groups, we need to all come together and because it's not only affecting Mexicans, it's affecting everyone, I would argue.
Okay, we're joined now by meteorologist Zoe Mitz. Zoe, the weather has been very nice this weekend, but things are going to change.
Things are changing, so get out today, enjoy yourself. This Sunday afternoon is going to be what I like to call a Sunday fun day because plenty of sunshine, above average temperatures, what you like exactly. Yeah. By Wednesday of this upcoming week, though, Kelsey, I'm so sorry. It's going to be chilly, it's going to be cloudy, and there's the potential for even a few thunderstorms. There is going to be a lot of fog early this morning. That fog will quickly clear, but a nice layer of upper level cloud coverage is going to be situated across the bay. But like I said, it's still going to be very warm out there. Those clouds are really not going to be doing all too much in terms of cooling down our temperatures. Those highs are going to be a few degrees above yesterday in the upper 70s down into the Santa Clara Valley, low 80s across parts of our inland East Bay communities, and even a few parts of our North Bay like Novato, Petaluma reaching that 80-degree mark. San Francisco right at the edge of that 70-degree mark, and mid-60s closer to our coastal communities. But again, it's going to be a lovely day to spend outdoors, to soak up some sunshine. There are changes on the way this upcoming week. Those temperatures by tomorrow are going to be about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than today. Overnight tonight, there might be a little bit of fog, and by tomorrow afternoon, there is once again going to be plenty of sunshine. But you might be wondering, why is it going to be so much cooler tomorrow if there's still going to be sunshine? It all has to do with the wind direction. Today, winds are coming in from the northeast. But by tomorrow afternoon, you'll notice those wind directions changing, and there'll be more of that onshore flow. And that onshore flow, let's play that again so you can actually kind of see it a little bit better as those winds change direction through tomorrow. Again, today coming in from the northeast, and then overnight tonight and into tomorrow, they'll be coming in from the onshore direction. Again, that's going to usher in those cooler conditions from the coast and those high temperatures tomorrow afternoon. You definitely notice those lower colors in yellow. They're going to be in the widespread low 70s to upper 60s across most of the Bay Area. So it's going to be cooler by Monday, but likely it's not going to be any chances of rain until we step out mid next week. So if you live in Monterey, Salinas, you're going to stay in the 60s all by the bay or all by the coast. And then for the inland areas, low 70s in places like Hollister. Again, this is all ahead of that large atmospheric river that's going to bring widespread activity across the Pacific Northwest and California. As you can see, it's a large, swirling low pressure system that's going to continue to impact the entirety of the West Coast. Northern California, though, easily going to be seeing the highest of the impacts. That level 4 on our atmospheric river scale for Northern California. So farther south in the Bay Area, we'll be seeing upwards of an inch of rain, windy conditions, and even the chance for an isolated thunderstorm. Again, that's going to be arriving late Tuesday and into Wednesday. And if we look at our 7-day forecast, again, there is going to be quite a lot of changes on the way. A very active midweek of weather. Wednesday is going to be the big day that everybody is going to be keeping their eyes on. Before and after Wednesday, though, honestly, you should be good to go. And it's honestly going to be overnight Tuesday and into early Wednesday morning that the biggest impacts are likely quickly clearing out by Thursday and Friday. So moral of the story is to get out today and enjoy your Sunday fun day.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Welcome back. The time now is 6:32. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelsey Thor, joined by meteorologist Zoe Mitz. Zoe, we were just talking about how nice the weather has been this weekend.
It's been so gorgeous, and what's even nicer, or just as nice, I should say, is the time lapse. Look at how beautiful it is. You can just barely see the Bay Bridge. The fog has now officially covered it up, and that was just a reminder for you all that the atmosphere is a fluid, like the ocean, and it moves like one.
It does look like that.
It does. It literally looks like waves in the ocean. Fun fact.
Into it.
I want to remind everybody, because sometimes it's kind of hard to imagine what the atmosphere is doing because it's invisible, basically. But when you can actually see the clouds, see the fog, get that grasp of what's going on out there, it is so fun to see. What's also going on out there with the fog is a little bit of some bad visibility, especially in places closer to the coast in our South Bay, like Half Moon Bay. You're down to less than a half a mile of visibility. That's probably the densest fog across the Bay Area, although there is a little pocket across our North Bay, places like Napa and Vallejo. You want to take it a little bit easier on the roadways. Those temperatures are chilly this morning, sitting in the mid to lower 50s to upper 40s. Grab a jacket, but make sure you dress in layers because it's going to be a gorgeous afternoon. The biggest impact is going to be along the coast with beach hazards. There's going to be a northwesterly swell, bringing the potential of 20-foot waves and sneaker waves, also high rip currents. So if you're planning on heading to the beach, it's going to be a gorgeous day for it, but you might not want to actually go swimming or dip your toes in the water is probably all you're going to want to do. I'll break down the details on what other impacts you can expect this upcoming week because there is widespread rain and thunderstorm potential. I'll let you know when coming up in just a bit. Back to you, Kelsey.
Awesome. Thanks, Zoe. Okay, well, as the government shutdown enters its 5th week, the need for food assistance is growing as federal workers go without pay and food stamp programs have run out of funds. But as Christian Benavides reports, air travel is also being affected.
Long lines at food banks across the nation over the weekend. Hundreds of cars lined up near Atlanta and outside NRG Stadium in Houston. This is what it looked like in Los Angeles.
The food pantry network is out there. You know, they're feeling it. Believe me, we had a call 2 days ago. They're seeing the demand.
As the government shutdown enters its 5th week, funding for SNAP benefits has run out. 2 federal judges have ordered the Trump administration to tap into emergency funds. The administration asked the courts to clarify how to legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. One federal judge said full payments must be restored by Monday or partial payments on Wednesday.
When you talk about SNAP, you're talking about largely Democrats, but I'm president. I want to help everybody.
Air traffic has also taken a hit, with delays and cancellations mounting as air traffic controllers go without pay. With no apparent end to the shutdown in sight, President Trump is now calling on Republicans to use their Trump card to get rid of the filibuster. But a spokesperson for Senate Majority Leader John Thune says there would be no change in Senate procedures. Democrats want funding for Affordable Care Act tax credits, but Republicans want to open the government before discussions take place.
We are 2 days away from the special election that could determine the balance of power in Washington. We are talking about Prop 50. Here's a look at California's current congressional map on the left and what it would look like if Prop 50 passed on the right, which would end up giving Democrats 5 more House seats, counteracting Texas's redrawing its congressional maps to add 5 new GOP seats. And last night, high-profile Democrats rallied in support of Prop 50 in downtown LA, including former Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Newsom. Tom Waite spoke with State Senator Tony Strickland, who is on the no side.
They poked the bear, and we have woken up.
Governor Newsom at the convention center in downtown LA Saturday, rallying supporters to get out the vote and pass Prop 50, the ballot measure before voters in the special election.
Let's be honest, why are we all here? We're here because Donald Trump is an historic president. He's an historically unpopular president.
Democrats rolled out their all-star lineup Saturday afternoon. Senator Padilla, Senator Schiff, Mayor Bass, and an appearance by former Vice President Kamala Harris. Harris says a yes vote on Prop 50 sends a strong message to President Trump.
It is about reminding folks that we refuse to kneel at the foot of a tyrant.
Prop 50 asks voters whether or not to redraw the state's current nonpartisan congressional map to favor Democrats and eliminate up to 5 GOP House seats. Newsom and state Democrats scrambled to get the issue on the ballot. Show Prop 50 has strong support, hovering near 60%. But the campaign to oppose Prop 50 is not giving up.
I do feel that we're a little bit down, but based on the rallies that we did today in Santa Barbara and Thousand Oaks, we have a lot of folks out there, and the only poll that matters is the one on Election Day. Voters will lose out in California on what's a gold standard. Full transparency. To throw that out for a backroom deal, predetermined elections for the next 3 cycles is bad for Democrats, Independents, and Republicans.
Morning edition starting right here on KPIX at 6 a.m. for everything you need to know about Prop 50. We will be there when polls open on Election Day and update you on results when they close Tuesday night. You can also watch on our sister station, Pix Plus, and stream it on the CBS News app. Now to San Francisco. The city district attorney and public defender are facing off this week after a severe backlog of court cases may lead to some suspects being released. Brad Hamilton has that story.
A growing backlog of unheard criminal cases has reached a tipping point. Last week, the Superior Court of San Francisco announced that it might have to start releasing some defendants whose trial wait exceeds the mandatory 45-day deadline because they have no attorneys to represent them. The courts cited the public defender's office for their refusal to take on new cases in recent months. Back in May, the office, which provides legal representation to those who can't afford a lawyer, warned that it would be unable to take on misdemeanor cases 1 day a week because of its caseload. But the man in charge of that office, Mano Raju, says the district attorney's office is at fault.
60% increase in cases filed since 2021. There's been a 57% increase in the active misdemeanor caseload over the last 6 years, and there is a 40% increase in the active felony case over the last 6 years. There's been a dramatic increase.
But San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins fired back, saying her office is filing more cases in its push to clean up the streets.
I have misdemeanor lawyers right now who have 225 cases each. They are staffed equally with the public defender's office, who only handles roughly about 75% of those misdemeanor cases. So if anything, I've got more of a staffing crisis than they do.
The public defender countered with this.
Prosecutor's office has $31 million more than the public defender's office.
But the DA says that's for a reason.
It's not an apples to apples comparison. We do more work because, again, we handle every single case filed in the city and county of San Francisco for state level crime. They do not.
In this war of words, both sides agree that this decision by the courts is a problem for a city trying to regain the public's confidence and safety. A fix is needed. The DA says it's on the courts and the public defender to catch up.
The fix is that the courts need to be more efficient in the way that they manage cases coming through the system. They need to make sure that they hold the public defender to their obligation to be appointed for our indigent defendants.
But the public defender says it's the DA's office that needs to cut back.
Facts speak for themselves. The increase in the number of filings, the increase in the active cases have contributed largely to the staggering caseload that public defenders are carrying.
A group of Bay Area teens have created a promising device to detect lung cancer. They say it's a cheaper and faster alternative. Kevin Coe has more on the new technology and the inspiration behind it.
And then I just blow in the bag, takes just around 10 to 15 seconds.
A big breath into this small device could possibly save countless lives from lung cancer. This machine was created by these 3 high school seniors, all because of one man.
My grandfather, he was diagnosed with a lung issue, and it was diagnosed kind of late, which kind of, if it was diagnosed earlier, it could have helped him.
What could have helped was a less invasive, more affordable, and quicker test compared to biopsies, CT scans, and top-of-the-line breath-based cancer detection.
It cost like 60 grand. And that was like the gold standard of what was being used at the time for breath-based
lung cancer detection. We know we're not going to beat the accuracy of that expensive device, but we just wanted to make a cheaper version that could still work.
It works by detecting markers in the breath that could signify lung cancer, an important step in early detection. They set out to create an affordable and accurate device.
So we had to drill a hole for the inlet to go, and then we had to use these rubber grommets on the inside as well to make sure it's airtight. What we need to do is define sensors first that can detect the changes, right, between a healthy patient and then a lung cancer patient.
About a year and a half later, their device is more promising than ever. It's nearly 100% accurate. The students are in discussions with a scientific journal for publication, and the total cost for the device, just about $200. What's hard to put a price on is the journey for these aspiring engineers, who say they've already found their callings.
Even though we spent a lot of time, I felt like I was having fun the whole way, so that's kind of what I want to do.
That is cool. Okay, well, we are joined by Zoe Mitz again with weather. Zoe, I know you said it's going to rain. Tell me when, where, and how can I avoid it?
Well, late Tuesday and into Wednesday. If you're heading out, any early morning Wednesday plans, it's going to be a rainy commute. You might even see a few thunderstorms and some wind gusts upwards of 40 miles an hour. So it's going to be a very active day on Wednesday. Again, that storm system not arriving until late Tuesday and into Wednesday, though. So up until then, it's pretty quiet. It is clear out there. A satellite showing a little bit of fog filling in our valley communities, but really not all too much to talk about. High temperatures today are going to be nice and comfortable, if not a few degrees above average for this time of year, sitting in the low 80s across our inland East Bay communities, mid to upper 70s elsewhere, and even upper 60s directly along the coast. The reason that we're going to be seeing cooler temperatures by as soon as Monday, though, is all brought to us by wind direction. Today, it's coming in from that northeasterly direction, but by as soon as tomorrow, you'll notice those winds, they don't necessarily look impressive, but because they're coming in from that onshore direction, look at those highs by tomorrow afternoon. Those colors in yellow signify the low 70s to upper 60s that are going to be returning to the forecast, sticking around through the midweek, if not getting cooler as that storm system arrives. So if you live in places like Santa Cruz, Monterey, Salinas, you'll still be in the mid 60s as well. It's only those inland communities, maybe like Hollister, that are going to be in the low 70s. But either way, we are going to be seeing a very large storm system impacting us by the time that we step out into mid this upcoming week. Right now, we're not looking at all too much of anything, but that storm system, again, is going to be arriving late Tuesday and into Wednesday. Hopefully we can get some graphics to show up underneath me, because it's really interesting to watch this storm system incoming. It is going to be arriving again mid this upcoming week, bringing widespread activity across the Bay Area, Northern California, and the Pacific Northwest. There we go. Okay, this large stream of moisture will be arriving, cooling down the temperatures and maybe bringing an isolated sprinkle or two into Tuesday. But again, it's not until late Tuesday and into Wednesday that the widespread activity will be arriving. Windy conditions, over an inch of rain possible, an isolated thunderstorm as well. Again, it's going to be a very active middle part of this upcoming work week. So I want to make sure that everybody is prepared and aware of the active weather on the way. Keep an umbrella handy if you have any Wednesday plans. Maybe push it back to Tuesday or push it into Thursday, because Wednesday, not a great day to spend outdoors, but soak up some sunshine today. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous Sunday fun day before some cooler weather heads our way into the week. More news and weather coming up after the break.
It's 6:55, time for a look at the headlines of the day. Runners took over the streets this weekend for the Golden Gate Half Marathon, but the course looked a little bit different. Last-minute changes came down due to the federal shutdown. The shutdown blocked access to federal land along the race route, forcing organizers to tweak parts of the 13.1-mile course. It is no longer officially certified, but the bridge views and high spirits remain. Runners from across the state say this race is about the experience, not the record time. Staying in San Francisco, anger and heartbreak in Cal Hollow after a fire killed a woman on Filbert Street. Firefighters say hoarding blocked access to her unit. Neighbors say they warned the city for years but got no help. Now displaced tenants hope to return home before the holidays.
Well, who's ready for a gorgeous Sunday fun day? Spend the day outdoors, soak up some sunshine, enjoy the warm weather. A bit of a cool down arriving by tomorrow, more clouds arriving Tuesday, and then the atmospheric river arriving by Wednesday. It's going to cool down our temperatures, bring widespread rainfall, gusty winds, and even the potential for an isolated thunderstorm. So keep that in mind for any midweek plans. Keep that umbrella handy on Wednesday, and let's enjoy the quiet and calm conditions over the next couple of days while we can.
Okay, you're now taking a live look at San Francisco. Whoo, it is foggy. But okay, Zoe, I feel like you might have planted this story in the rundown. Okay, so this is it. According to a new report, San Francisco ranks as one of the most ideal climates in the entire country.
That does not surprise me at all. According to the Camelot Climate Index created by a Bay Area meteorologist, San Francisco ranks second. But one city in the U.S. ranks higher than San Francisco when it comes to perfect weather, and it is just down the coast. San Diego takes the cake for the most ideal weather in the country, but San Francisco scored an 87 out of 100 thanks to its steady ocean-cooled climate with very few extremes.
Locals say they love not needing air conditioning, and tourists, well, some of them say the fog can catch them off guard. Still, many agreed, though, if you want mild, walkable weather, it is hard to beat the Bay Area. Here's my thing with that study, Zoe. It said it was done by a Bay Area meteorologist.
I might be a little bit biased.
A little biased.
I will say,
I'm just saying.
It's so nice out here. It's why we pay a little bit extra money to live in California, because of the beautiful weather.
I guess. Okay, well, just a reminder, you can watch the 49ers take on the New York Giants in just a few hours right here on KPIX. It all starts at 10 a.m. Thank you guys for joining us. CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley is next here on KPIX. Local news continues on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.